Hello and welcome to another tier list video. Today we are taking a look at something super exciting, numbers. Now for those of you who don't know, I studied math and computer science in college, so I feel if anybody is qualified to give a list ranking numbers, it's gotta be me. So I have a decent number of numbers on this list. Of course, I didn't include every number in existence because, I felt the list might be a little bit longer than suitable for YouTube, but I have the ones that I found to be the most important. And starting us off, we have 0. Honestly, a classic number, I think relatively well known as well. 0, of course, being a number that doesn't have any value. But that's, in the mathematical sense. On this list, 0, I think it has some value. Pretty good number, just don't try and divide by it. You're gonna run into trouble there. But 0, pretty solid number, doesn't really take away anything, doesn't add anything too much, just a solid number, a nice round number if you will, so it's going to find itself in a respectable B tier. Up next we have 1. Now 1 honestly almost never does anything. You can divide by 1, multiply by 1, put something to the power of 1. It's not going to change anything. You can add 1 or subtract 1, but even then it's not really even doing much. 1 is just not a great number, 1 it's just so small, so pointless, and it's not as cool or unique as 0, so 1 gonna find itself down in the D tier. Up next, we have 2. Now, honestly, a fantastic number. I mean, 2 is just got so many applications, talking about pairs, doubling, 2 is just so good. It's so versatile. 2 is also my lucky number as well, so 2, just an incredible number. Gonna find itself up in the S tier for sure. If there was an S plus tier on this list, 2 would easily find itself up there as well. 3, F tier. I don't think I need to explain that one to you guys. You guys know why 3 is in the F tier. Up next we have 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Another great number. Not quite as good as 2, but still a very respectable number. 4. It's got just countless applications for the number. Really solid one. Gonna find itself up in the A tier. Up next, we have 5. Now, 5 is a really nice number, for me, I don't know what it is, but anytime I'm changing the volume on, like, my car's radio or the TV, I always have to set it at an increment of 5, like, 15, 20, 25, 30. Like, it's always got to be one of those. I can't have anywhere in between. I don't know why, but it's a rule, and I'm not allowed to break it. So, 5, pretty good number. Definitely has its applications. Gonna find itself up in the A tier as well. 6. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the number 6. Sure, you can say it's, 2 goes into 6 3 times, but it's just not a great number. It's an even number, but it's not really the best. I'm not a huge fan of 6. Doesn't really do too much for me. It's not awful, don't get me wrong, but it is going to find itself in a relatively mediocre C tier. Up next, we have 7. People say lucky number 7. I think 7 is a pretty good number. Most common number you can roll if you're rolling 2 dice. I just think 7 is a pretty good one. It's a prime number. It's nice. It looks cool. Also, I draw my 7s like this with the extra little hitch on the side. I don't see a lot of people do that, but I do that, and this 7 here has it, so I think that's pretty good. 7 gonna find itself up in the A tier. Up next, we have number 8. Another good one. 2 cubed or 2 times 4. It's just a great number, divisible by 2 like a million different times. You turn an 8 sideways and you have the infinity sign. You also got that going for you. I just think 8 is a pretty solid number, and for me, gonna find itself up in a respectable A tier. Up next, we have number 9. A pretty good number. It's the last single-digit number, so it's got that going for it. And it's a pretty nice number. 9 is 3 squared. It's a nice number. Really no complaints about number 9. But again, it's not doing anything too crazy, but it's enough to find itself in a pretty solid B tier. Up next, we have number 10, the first 2-digit number. Absolutely mind-blowing. 2 digits in a number, I mean, it's unheard of. But here, we have a 1 and a 0 in the number. And so we have a 0 in the B tier and 1 in the D tier. And you put those together, that averages out to a C tier. So understandably so, 10 is going to find itself in the C tier. 13, well, 13 is like the unlucky curse number, right? Like Friday the 13th, there's some buildings that don't have a 13th floor. Unlucky number. Can't really say too many good things about number 13. It's a prime number, that's pretty cool, but Unlucky number 13, gotta find itself down in the F tier. Up next, we have 100. We're kind of going out of order now, but that's okay. 100, the first triple-digit number. If you thought 10 was cool, 100 is even cooler. Honestly, I think 100 is pretty good. You know, saw plenty of 100s, you know, on my exams back in the day. Of course, that was a 100 out of usually 150 or 200 points. But that's not important. 100, still a great number, honestly. Love 100. Gonna find itself in the S tier as well. Up next, we have 21. Honestly, just another fantastic number. 1, not the best, but 2, it's got 2 in it. How can you not like 21? It's great. Also 21, you know, important number in blackjack. Some people just call blackjack 21. Great game. 21, great number. Always feels good to get that one in blackjack. So gonna find itself up in the S tier as well. Up next, we have 64. Now, honestly, I love the number 64. I think it's great. You know, it's divisible by 2 like a million different ways. It just has, you know, so many factors. It's a great number. Love 64. Really no complaints about this one. Definitely gonna find itself up in the S tier. Up next, we have 97. Now, you might be wondering, why is 97 on this list? Well, I'm glad you asked. 97 is the largest 2-digit prime number. So honestly, just because of that, gonna find itself in a solid B tier. Up next, we have Euler's constant. Now, if you don't know what this number is, it's honestly fantastic. I think it's like, you know, 2.78, I think, 2.77. 2.71. Yeah, sorry. It's been a while since I've, you know, taken a math class. But, you know, if you've taken, you know, high-level mathematics, you know and you love this number. It's so useful. It shows up, like, literally everywhere. Euler's constant, just a fantastic number. Definitely going to find itself up in the S tier. Up next, we have pi. Of course, you know, 3.141592652. I don't know. I only know the first few, and that's really all you need to know. But pi, I'm not really a huge fan of it. You know, it definitely has its applications, just like Euler's constant. But it usually shows up in more of the annoying places, whereas Euler's constant, when it shows up, it's like, yes, Euler's constant, such a nice number. It makes the equation, you know, so nice. But then pi shows up, and pi shows up, and it's just like, you know, throwing its decimals all over the place, just making a mess of the equation. Pi gonna find itself down in the D tier. Well, that's my list. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and let me know if there's any numbers that you think I missed that should have been on this list, or numbers I put on that you know, disagree with. Feel free to give me your feedback, and I hope you guys enjoy.